right now that you have to use this alumni network as rigorously as possible. And trust me, since we have a small community, a lot of people would know you from your current batches and from your one or two batches in your junior, and those are your real assets. And you can always reach out to some very senior people, even people like me who have passed out from IIST 10 to 11 years ago, because we have passed through those difficult times, not as difficult as yours, as I see how the hiring policy of ISRO has changed in past couple of years. But we have been through some difficult times in our career transformation phase, and a lot of us will be happy to help you. Having said that, from my side, uh, uh, like there is immense possibility of doing anything and whatever you want to do after your graduation from IIST. You can go for postgraduate higher studies. You can go for immediately working in the private sector, and obviously a few of the community will have opportunity to work with the different centers of ISRO. So do grab that if it's to your hand. And yeah, for other kind of career guidance, we have Alumni Cell. We can help you with MBA transformation. We can help you with UPSC or GATE kind of career changes as well. But like be sure that people cannot provide you coaching to do such kind of courses or to undertake such career progress. Uh, but people can definitely guide you to get the right resources. Uh, I think that's a decent monologue for the time being. Utkarsh, I will be happy to take on some questions.
Yes, I want to put forward some questions, and from that we can start. So,
Yeah.
since you are already worked for the 10 year at SAC Ahmedabad, and like after that he cracked the CAT as well with the 99.9
7 percentile. Yeah.
99.7 percentile. And then after 3 months of study, he left and went for that Oxford MBA. So, sir, with that question, I would like to ask, like, how you have decided whether to join abroad MBA or like Indian MBA. For Indian market, like mostly Indian MBA is good, but for like, what is the global exposure? Like, how you have decided to leave the IIM Bangalore, such decent like best college in India, and then you went for the Oxford. So we can start with that, and later I have more questions, so I will ask, and maybe from audience side they can ask in between.
Definitely.
Yes, sir.
First of all, thank you for this question. And a lot of people like you and others who are studying in IIST right now, or even who are working in ISRO or some other job positions, even in the private sector, this type of scenario might come in your life as well, when you have something but you want to do something else. Uh, See, I had to put certain parameter to decide whether should I continue with IIM Bangalore or whether should I go to Oxford to pursue my MBA. First of all, I had a 10-year of job experience in the space sector. Uh, you know, you can have a different career trajectory if you make this transition in the initial years of your career. So if you have a 1 to 4 years of career progression, doing an MBA from India makes sense, because in India, companies usually prefer those candidates who have joined the MBA program in a very early age, so that they can be molded in the business sector from very beginning. Whereas when you go for MBA after a decade, after 8 to 10 years of job experience, uh, your job experience makes you, very relevant to the field you are working in right now. Now, there was no point of continuing with ISRO after doing an MBA from abroad. First of all, I did not get a scholarship, so I had a huge education loan to pay off, and coming back to ISRO would not make a financial sense. Uh, Similarly, uh, the current space tech market in India is definitely growing, and kudos to people like Gaurav State, Prateep Basu, Parth Sharma, who are working in different startups relevant to space sector in India. Unfortunately, the funding is happening, but it's still at a very nascent phase, and space tech companies are not willing to pay you huge amount of salaries that you would expect after an MBA. So, let's agree to the fact that ISRO's job does pay you a decent salary after 8 to 10 years of job experience. With a package of you are quitting the job with a package of 20 lakhs per annum, and you are going to do an MBA spending around 40 lakhs even in India, and then you would want some packages above 40 or 45. Unfortunately, that is not what is being offered to a lot of employees who are working in the space tech domain in India. So that was one of the reasons I chose, because financially it made sense to go abroad and do an MBA. Second, uh, with the experience of ISRO, I do have some friends working in the Indian private tech sector, and uh, they do have certain higher flexibilities. They do have some more salaries or perks than ISRO at the time being, but the work culture largely remains the same. Whereas when I had discussions with people who were working abroad in UK, Europe, or US, I realized that the work culture was quite different from that in India. And I did want to experience that international work culture where what you work is really valued, what you bring to the table is really valued, your personal time is valued, and these factors again motivated me to choose Oxford MBA over IIM Bangalore. And third was obviously the brand that MBA itself brings to your profile. See, people do masters in science, people do masters in engineering to get better skills. But most of the people who go for an MBA, the skills you gain are mostly you sharpen your communication skills, you sharpen your soft skills, and you learn certain things about business domain as well. Uh, but overall, you have a brand name attached to your profile that, hey, I'm an MBA from I'm Bangalore, or hey, I'm an MBA from Harvard, or Oxford Saïd, or HEC Paris. And that attachment of Oxford's name to my profile, really made me value Oxford's MBA more than the IIM Bangalore MBA. So yeah, these were some basic factors, but would be happy to get in detail in any of the factors if you would like to do that.
Yeah, sir. Okay. So, like, how you have decided, like, I have to go after 10 years? Like, how one, like, let's say one student is there who is working as a maybe in ISRO or some other companies. So, how one can decide, like, whether we have to leave, like, for foreign MBA, we have to leave after 4 years or like 5 years, or maybe like you left after 10 years. So, how one can decide that thing?
Definitely, I will definitely help you in answering that question. Uh, See, even for IIMs, if you look at their scoring system, they do have certain kind of scores for job experience. Okay. If you look at IIM Bangalore's scoring formula, they give uh, +5 if you are joining in 2 years of experience. So if you're joining immediately, you get 3, and as you go from 0, 1, 2, 3 years, they increase your scores up to 3 years. But if you join IIMs after 3 years, your score for your job experience reduces. Okay. So if you're joining in IIM Bangalore or IIM Ahmedabad course, they will score you lesser than to people who are joining these courses for a 2 year or 3 year job experience. So the wisest thing to do an MBA in India at the right time is going for an MBA in less than 5 years. If you are going for an MBA after 5 years, first of all, you don't get that score. You are scored 0. You are losing on that score. Second, see, even after 5 years of experience in ISRO, you won't be having much savings to pay for your fees. You will end up taking a lot of loan for sure. So there's no greater incentive in saving some time and money and then going for an MBA in India if money is not a big factor. And third, even the Indian private companies, they look for fresh, very young and fresh minds, even from an MBA cohort. because they are involved in some basic business development tasks, in market research analysis, and in different things. Usually, in all top three IIMs, people are hired by consulting sector, by business development, or these kind of sectors, and they look for young people. But when you go for the other kind of roles like project managers or product managers, they would expect you to have an experience of working as a project manager before coming for an MBA, and they would expect an experience of 5 to 7 years. Uh, but when you look for an abroad MBA, usually the minimum job experience they expect is 3 years. In Oxford side, minimum was 3. But if you look at the overall average age of the cohort, it was around 28 or 29 in Oxford side, whereas if you compare to any top IIM's average age, it's around 22. Okay, so that's how the age difference matters between Indian and abroad MBA. Still, I would say that going for an abroad MBA makes sense when you have more than 3 years of experience. Ideally, you should go for an abroad MBA. The best possible scenario should be between 3 to 6 years of job experience. If you are going after 6 years, again, it can be a personal call. People do go for an abroad MBA after 6 years of job experience. I did that. You can do that as well. But then it becomes difficult for you to find jobs in consulting sector. It becomes difficult for you to make a switch to PVC sector, which is a kind of a very sought after sector after you do an MBA. Even for fresh graduates, those who are good or interested into finance, and people want to make a switch to PVC sector, or some sectors like my friend is doing something like fund management, these kind of roles. So initial transition is preferred over having a job experience of 8 to 10 years and then coming to that sector. Yeah, I think I spoke a lot about that.
Yeah, it's like yeah, mostly it's covered. Like mostly we have to 3 to 6 years of experience for the abroad MBA is a very good thing. And like if you want to go for that fund management, then maybe financial management or risk management, we have to be like in 3 to 6 years or in the early 26 or 27. So
Definitely, yeah.
yeah. So my next question is like mostly most of the people have like let's say we are going for masters or MS
Okay.
in some domain, like maybe in space science or maybe aeronautics or maybe in electronics embedded system. So like what skill set or let's say what kind of a student are more preferable for that MBA thing? Like you mostly in your cohort at the Oxford, mostly some people are at the age of 40 as well, or maybe 45 as well, or some are the company CEOs. Like mostly I heard like at Harvard or Wharton School of Business, our ministers are there, like Ashwini Vaishnav sir, then like they are at the age of 45. So in your cohort as well, most of the people are from that group, like CEO, CFO, like that. So like what you have observed from that guys, like what is the skill set for that MBA thing? And like how
Uh,
one can decide.
See, if people are going for masters in their own relevant field, maybe masters in science or masters in engineering in certain field, uh, the universities mainly judge based on some GRE score that you will be properly prepared to understand the lectures given by professors, and you can be properly assessed in the examinations. And for that, they would need you to have a GRE score. Um, and apart from that, in your technical interviews, they would expect to answer some technical based questions for the kind of engineering or the kind of science stream that you want to pursue. Whereas if you're going for an MBA, the kind of skill set that they want to, for you to have is more generic one, more people based skills, I would say. So people are usually assessed based on your communication and soft skills, based on your work experience as a team, based on based on what kind of business exposure you have, or what is your inclination to do post MBA. Do you want to remain in the technical field, Do you want to take up some other roles? And also, suppose like people from IIST are graduates in aerospace, avionics, or I think the name of avionics exchange, it's electrical engineering now.
Electronics and communication.
Yeah, so people are from aerospace, electronics and communication, or from the dual degree course, which was earlier BTech in physical sciences and that kind of name. So, and you go for an MBA, you write an application that I want to do a job in PVC sector. Okay, so that doesn't really make sense because you do not have experience in that sector. So what you write in your application should be very relevant to what is your profile before you write an application. Although once you get an admission, they don't really care whether you are interested in going in the PVC sector and you take only those specific classes. That's up to you. But at least before admission, they look for skill sets which are relevant for your career transition. So it's a very famous kind of thing in a broad MBA that people usually go for a one or two or three stage of transitions. So either you change your profile in the current sector, or and you remain in the same location, or you change your sector all by itself. So suppose I'm an engineer in the space tech sector and I want to change both. I want to make a double switch. I want to become a product manager, but not in the space tech domain. I want to be a product manager in a maybe mobile or cellular company or maybe a global tech company. So I'm changing both my sector and my position. And then the third switch is you're changing your location as well. And people who make all those three jumps are said to be like some kind of superheroes that you did it, which was very difficult for people to do. And as you can see, I could not do all three changes. I changed only two things. I changed from engineering role to a manager role. I changed from my location from India to Italy, but I am yet to change my sector. So I could only make a two-step jump.
Yeah, correct, sir. So before going to like more deep into the Oxford MBA thing, so I would like to ask you, like our audience, like anyone have any question to ask on this?
Hello, sir. I would like to know more about the loans that you took when you had to pay your tuition fees, and how was the process, and is there any support provided by the Indian government for the students to pursue their education abroad? I would like to know about that.
Thank you for asking this question. I might have, missed this part because I do recall now that one of the reasons one should go for an abroad MBA before the age of 30 could be this financial decision. Okay. Now, Government of India actually offers a lot of scholarships for people going out of India to study, even for MBA or for masters in any kind of field. Okay. Interestingly, a lot of these scholarships and rewards are limited to people below the age of 30. Okay. So if you want to go for higher studies abroad and you want to make a rational decision, you want to be financially more secure, it is highly advised that you start, you're preparing for the jump, maybe, by the age of 26, 27. If you are getting late due to some reason, or otherwise the preparations can be made right away from the age of 22, 23. But suppose you are late, okay, but still you want to go, the rational decision would be to start preparations by the age of 26, 27 and appear for exams, start applying. You should leave India at least by the age of 28, 29, okay? Because after 30, all scholarship options from the country just vanishes, okay? So there are a lot of scholarships and a lot of ISTs have got that kind of scholarships as well. Unfortunately, when I was applying, my age was not below 30. I did apply at the age of 33. It's very fortunate that I got admission into Oxford at that age. But yeah, I did not have any scholarship options. And interestingly, even apart from the government to sponsor the scholarships, there are a lot of private organizations. They also provide the scholarships. and even they would prefer people who are going for these kind of studies below the age of 30. So having talked about that, you can definitely explore scholarships by Tata Foundation, scholarships by Reliance Foundation, scholarships by Jindal Foundation, by Azim Premji Foundation. So any, the famous people you find in India, there are scholarships from them. And then you have certain foreign funds-based scholarships as well. Chevening is one of those scholarships offered for students coming to UK to go for higher studies, particularly from India. I'm sure there are a lot of scholarships for US and Europe as well. I might not know their name right now, but if someone is interested, I can definitely find out. And apart from scholarships, the government banks like SBI and Central Bank of India, Union Bank of India, they are more than willing to provide you loans if you go for an MBA, particularly in India. So even Union Bank of India has a limit of 40 lakhs per year, which is like more than sufficient for an ISB MBA. But if you go for an abroad MBA, 40 lakhs would be a kind of financially tight situation if you're not getting a scholarship. So private banks also provide good amount of loan. In my case, I took a loan from HDFC Bank, and they were willing to sponsor my entire MBA expense. So you can get loans as big as 1 CR if that's what you're looking for. But yeah, there will be some conditions that the university you are applying to and you got admitted should be one of the top tier ones. So that becomes one of the reasons they are able to expand their loan capacity. But otherwise, even for top 10, top 20 universities in any kind of sector, you can avail loans very easily.
Hello, sir. This is Prabhas from fourth year. Actually, can you elaborate the exact difference between the curriculum and exact teaching methodology and even exposure in the as compared to the Indian MBA and the abroad MBA in some biggest entity like Oxford, LBS, HES Paris, and IIM, IBS like that?
Thank you, Prabhas. I will definitely answer that question. See, curriculum-wise, there will be much difference in 2-year MBA versus 1-year MBA than an Indian MBA over an broad MBA. So usually when you have a 2-year MBA course, be it in India or be it one of those European or US universities, the curriculum is wide. They try to teach you multiple concepts around business development, business finance, marketing, strategy and planning, go-to-market strategies, accounting. So, like MBA is about people trying to understand the overall of business. Okay. Now, the business consists of a lot of different processes that we don't really know until and unless we are actually involved in it. Okay. So when you want to start a firm, you will have to look for right kind of people. So you need to have organizational skills, and that are being taught in MBA as well. When you want to start a company, you need to have you need to maintain certain accounts because you will be registered as a company and the government will ask you for your accounts, your account balance, and for that you need to learn financial accounting. If you need money from the market, if you are taking loans or if you're taking capital from equity holders, you need certain financial mechanisms, and for that you need to learn business finance concept. Okay, so these are some like financial related concepts that you need to understand. Apart from a lot depends upon what kind of courses you want to specialize on. So if you're going for a PVC sector kind of role, they will teach you special concepts around private equity, around venture capitalist mode of working. If you go for strategy and planning, they will teach you about business strategies, global strategy. These kind of courses are usually taken in different curriculum. Now, when I compare an Indian MBA curriculum with an abroad MBA curriculum, In India, the curriculum, focuses more on teaching you more concepts, in pushing you to learn more concepts. But when you go for an abroad MBA, they teach you basic concepts, but they also focus on developing those soft skills, making you prepare for the job sector there, because the major difference between an Indian and abroad MBA is that in India companies come for campus placements, whereas anywhere in the world outside India companies do not come for campus placements. Once your MBA is over, you have to do networking, you have to send applications, you have to talk to right people in the company who can advocate for you in that company, and then you find a job outside. So they do a lot of preparation for your, to make you ready for job sector as well. Uh, Regarding the assessment part, in India, all MBA schools, they follow the same kind of a structure. You will be taught subjects, you will be given assignments, and you will be also tested based on written examinations. Whereas a lot of colleges in the broad MBA, they have a combination of assessment based on assignments and examinations. So even for Oxford, we had a few examinations, and we had certain assignments for a few papers. Based on that, we were judged. Uh, in US, uh, it's less assignment and more examinations, but this combination varies between US and Europe. Uh, in India, it is strictly based on assessments. So for people who are more interested in learning those core skills, again, Indian MBA is preferred, because you learn more concepts when you prepare for exams than you just when you write assignments. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, sir. Mostly it's okay. So those who joined online, if you have any question, please ask. Anyone in online? Yeah, I will come to you. In online mode, 5 to 6 people are there. So anyone who want to ask questions, you can unmute and ask. Okay. No, so you have.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, sir. Recently, you told about the campus placement in MBA abroad in India. So, we are aware about the campus placement in India and in both the IITs and IIM and all that, but we are not sure about the foreign placement. We have to struggle to approach the company with itself. So, what are difficulties that you have faced during your job hunting and all?
See, first of all, this whole process of applying for jobs was kind of new for me. Uh, we were among the first few batches of IIST who had to maintain a simple CGPA, and we just got into ISRO. Okay, so we didn't even have a campus interview in IIST to get a job in ISRO. So this was one of the reasons, I could not clear UPSC interview, even though I appeared for the interview 4 times, because I was never, prepared enough for the job interview. Okay, that would come sometime later. But yeah, this whole experience of looking for jobs, networking with people, and then applying for jobs, only to see a rejection letter within 2 or 3 weeks was very difficult. If I talk to you about the difficulties that I faced, first of all, the first challenge that you will feel, you will experience is there are hundreds and thousands of companies globally, and where do you find out which companies to apply? Where do you find out what kind of role you really are looking for? Okay, so the first and foremost important challenge that one has to encounter when you go for an abroad study, and I'm not talking about just about MBA. Okay, this question will come up to you even if you are going for masters in engineering or masters in science, because you have to apply for jobs yourself. If you want to pursue PhD after masters, that's a different scenario. But if you're looking for jobs after masters, you have to find out which companies to apply to. Okay, so you do a lot of internal grilling, what kind of job profiles you like, what kind of sector you want to get into. then you try to, go on LinkedIn, or nowadays, thanks to ChatGPT, you can just ask questions like, which are the top 10 relevant companies in this market for a profile like this, and that will help you find those top 10 companies. So that's become a very difficult process by itself. And second, the next difficult process is networking with the right people, because networking doesn't happen organically. Lot of people in India, mostly engineers, we are not, trained to do such kind of activities on a daily basis. If you go in a job like ISRO, you do not have an opportunity to talk to people outside ISRO. So your networking is basically your ISRO's network. So that's a difficult thing for sure. And networking is about sending those cold emails, making those cold text to people you don't even know. You have to introduce yourself that, hey, I'm Abhinav, I have worked in ISRO for a couple of years, and now I'm doing an MBA from Oxford side, and I'm interested in this sector. Would you be okay to talk to me? And you keep on sending these messages and emails. Trust me, out of 10, you are very lucky if one or two people reply. So that kind of experience you have to go through, and it's an everyday process. Even if you feel bad, you feel sad, you feel rejected, you have to go through this process, because there is no other way to find a job if you go abroad. Second, we are not used to writing those cover letters, those job experience letters. So almost all companies in UK, Europe, and the US market, they expect, apart from your resume, they expect your cover letter. Okay. And you have to be very specific. You have to be very vigilant about what kind of things you're writing in your cover letter. And you have to update cover letter for every company. You cannot just make a template of cover letter and send it to all the companies in the world. You have to tailor your cover letter based on what kind of roles they're looking for, what kind of experience you bring to the table, and how would you and the company benefit if this organic relationship actually happens. Uh, and then comes the negotiation part, which is not so difficult, because you're looking for job, and you would want to grab any offer that comes in your line. Yeah, but I would say this overall experience was challenging, and it was a very learning experience as well. I got to learn a lot of new skills. Um, overall, I would say it makes you a very confident person, that I can deal with any kind of situation. If I leave a job, I have studied abroad. If I can find job in this difficult market situation, I'm well prepared to find a job anywhere in the world.
Yeah, yes,
I
sir.
hope I answered your question.
Yeah, mostly it's an answer. So one question from my side, like mostly in India, mostly we talk about the return on investment, right? So like for, let's say, if you're going for IIM, so mostly the fee is around like 30 to 35 lakhs, like nearly 30 lakhs for IIM Ahmedabad or maybe Bangalore. So let's say like you told that you have a loan of 40 lakhs or maybe 40 to 50 lakhs. So after that, after joining any firm from the Oxford, like in how many years we can cover that thing? Like in how many years we can pay the loan, and what is the rate of interest on that loan? HDFC thing, like 10, 12? Because in India mostly it's like for home loan it's 8%, but a study loan is like 12%. So what
Right. So even our loan is around 12% interest rate. See, again, a very good question and very important aspect to look for when you are deciding between an Indian MBA or an abroad MBA. I will tell you, certain realities of abroad MBA. First of all, if it's about global exposure, if it's about having an international cohort, then it really makes sense to go for an abroad MBA, because even if you go to ISB Hyderabad, you will not get the kind of exposure or the kind of international exposure you get in one of those US or European B schools. Okay. Now, having said that, the return on investment is not only about exposure, it's definitely more relevant with the kind of financial investment that you make. So there are two factors. First of all, it's very much easy to get a scholarship in India, okay? and your education fee of 40 lakh rupees will be reduced to 30 or 25 or 20 lakh rupees based on what kind of scholarship you have got. It's difficult for male, it's difficult for again general engineering male candidates. But again, if you are a female, if you are from some other categories in India, you get scholarships for sure. Uh, Again, there are certain caveats to that as well. So suppose you do an Indian MBA, even from IIM Bangalore and Ahmedabad, the average package is around 18 to 20 lakh rupees if you are in the initial years of your job experience. Okay, the companies won't pay you something like 50 lakh rupees just because you have an MBA from IIM Ahmedabad or IIM Bangalore. They will start with packages of around 18 20 lakh rupees. When you look at the MBA cohorts financial report and you see that the average package of IIM Bangalore is 35 lakh rupees, it's not because everybody gets 35. It's because majority gets something around 20, 25, and a few people who were having remarkably very great profile, or they impressed the company so much in the campus interview that they got packages of 50, 60 lakh rupees. That's why the average has jumped up to 35. But on an average, people make something around 20 to 27, 28 lakh rupees in India. Okay, and that after taxes, it again comes down to around 12 to 15 lakh rupees. Okay, you will be earning something around 1 to 1.5 lakhs cash in hand. Now, having said that, the abroad MBA is not so lucrative at the moment for sure. If you have looked at the placement reports of very good B schools like Harvard, Stanford, or even for LBS, Oxford, Cambridge, for European schools like HEC Paris, INSEAD, IE, Spain, you will realize that uh, nearly 40% of the cohort, they do not get a job by the time MBA ends. Okay, so these universities claim that everybody got placed after nearly 6 months of MBA completion. So at least, in India, you get a job mostly right after your MBA, but in abroad, the major problem is that a lot of people from India, from these parts of the world who have those work permit and visa kind of issues, you do not get a job immediately. You have to wait for 5, 6 months to find a job. And you have to make your own expenses, arrange for yourself during those times. Second, their packages might sound like somebody is making 1 CR or somebody is making 1.5 CR, but again, it's an average package. Some people who go for consulting or PVC sector, they make those, higher packages, 2 CR or 3 CR per annum. But on an average, people are making, at least I can talk about Europe and UK, people are making something around 50,000 pounds, or from a range of 50,000 pounds to 80,000 pounds is the usual figures. Okay. Now, compared to the kind of education fees you are paying something around, at least for LBS, Cambridge, and Oxford side, you are paying something around 80,000 pounds for 1 year of MBA course. Okay, and you're getting a job of somewhat similar figures. So, at least for initial few years, it will be difficult for you if you go for an abroad MBA because expenses are high, you are getting less money. But again, your salary will grow from 80,000 in the abroad segment, and here you are going from 20 to from a different scale. So the growth of salaries will be different in India and in the foreign market sector. Also, the loan rates are around 10 to 12% in India. There's an option to take loan from local banks in US, UK, and Europe as well, and you can avail those loans. Usually, education loans are a bit on the higher side of interest rate. You would be charged something around 10 to 12%. But if you avail a bank loan from that local country, if you get a job in that country, obviously you can go for tax rebates as well. And after a few years of job experience, you can take personal loans and pay back your education loan, because the rate of interest for personal loan in UK and Europe and US are surprisingly lesser than the interest rates for education loan. I do want to share with you a very important portal called GYAN DHAN. Okay, so when I was exploring financial opportunities and options that I had for an MBA, how can I avail my education fees and everything, I came to know about this portal called GYAN DHAN. Like, it is not a promotion kind of thing. They have not paid me money, but yeah, you all know that how banks can be difficult in arranging documents or in negotiating loan terms with you. So these people, particularly from GYAN DHAN, they do not charge any money from us. So it's a free of cost service, and they can help you find relevant banks, relevant interest rates, and they will negotiate those interest rates on behalf of you, so that you get a loan from for your course very easily, and you can always go and talk to them. So that's one portal where you're not discussed about scholarships, but yeah, you can definitely know about loan facilities across different parts of the across different banks in India.